Welcome everybody to Games Cast by PanderNyrl. If you wish to see more commented games, please follow my YouTube and Twitch pages below.
On the blue team, we do see a Ryze in the middle lane, a Sona Corki down bottom, Riven up top, and a Mundo in the jungle. For the red team, we see a Nami and Ezreal down bottom, Teemo in the mid, Teemo or Annie in the mid. Could be Annie as well, or Annie top. Annie top is still pretty good, and an Olaf in the jungle. I'm really curious to see how Annie does, as I've not seen much of her since the patch. But I think she will do fairly well against Ryze, as she will be able to stun him pretty much whenever they decide to trade. Looks like the game has started, and there's a 1-kill advantage for the blue team at the 3-minute and 19-second mark. The kill was picked up by Riven onto this Teemo, who is not in very good shape, as Riven just crushes Teemo. Looks like Nami down bottom is gathering up some last hits for her own. Ezreal is down pretty hard. He has opted for the cloth armor start. A fairly decent start, but looks like Nami's going to go fairly low, and it will be taken down by this Corki. He was baiting for Olaf, but will they get a counter kill? I don't think they will. And Olaf might even die to this Corki. But Sona does back up and pick it up, and that is just the case of getting a little too ballsy. And their lane does not stand much of a chance. Nami is an incredibly weak support at this point, but here comes Annie, and will Annie pick up the blue buff? Yes, Annie will not pick up the blue buff. She might even go down to this Corki, as Corki Sona is just such a terrifying lane early game. Sona's poke is pretty ridiculous. Looks like Mundo's coming up here, and will try and get onto Annie, and will get the kill. And everything is going wrong here for this red team, as they really don't have much of a chance at this point. Nami does try to throw a bubble out, but nothing going. And as I was saying, Nami's incredibly weak support at the moment, mostly due to the fact her heal just doesn't bounce well. Let me check and see what that's called real quick. Ebb and flow. Yeah, ebb and flow just really doesn't bounce well, because half the time it goes and hits one target and doesn't bounce. It feels like the range on that's just a little weak. And other than that, she's fine. But when you can't get the bounces on that off properly unless you're being engaged in a team fight, it's pretty weak. It looks like Teemo's being jumped in by Riven, and Riven takes Teemo down to about half health and forces potions out. Riven has opted for the Fortitude Potion in addition to the Doran's Blade. Corki with the Doran's Blade and Berserker's Greaves. Machete up on Mundo. Ryze going for the early Catalyst, and he's picked up a Doran's Ring. Nami with Boots and the Flask. Teemo picking up the Flask as well as the Explorer's Ward. Ezreal going for a Doran's Blade in addition to the Cloth Armor, and Olaf with the Machete and Boots. At this point, it is a nice 2,000 gold lead by the blue team, and they really need to snowball this early game advantage, because they can, and they have a huge lead. Down bottom, Corki is so incredibly far ahead, it's funny, as he has picked up a kill and 2 assists, in addition to having significantly more gold than this Ezreal. The big problem here is Ezreal's level 3, Corki is level 5, and Sona's damage is rather ridiculous. Sona running a little bit of AP and grabbing that Sightstone up. And yeah, that Phosphorus Bomb from Corki makes Ezreal's life a real pain. And right there we did see Nami's ebb and flow go off nicely. Most of the time it doesn't. As Riven jumps in here onto Teemo, and will pick up that kill and back off just in time to not take that final hit of the tower. Right now it looks like we do see Olaf coming in here for a gank. Will he actually get the gank off? I don't think so, as the blue team decides not to dive. Mundo has picked up an Averance Blade and looks to come in here, but he will land the cleaver onto Olaf and wisely back away. Looks like Sona is waiting for Olaf here, as they do see them in the bushes. And it looks like Ezreal will go for the kill onto Sona. Sona will go down here thanks to the nice bubble from Nami. Looks like Corki and Mundo are going to try and get this kill on Olaf, but Olaf is just a little too tanky, as he did pop Ghost. And this is the kind of thing a comeback starts from. But here comes Ryze, and it means Nami is not in good shape. As Nami will go down, bubble thrown out by her as well. And that is a trade of supports, but it looks like Annie does come in here. Does not have the stun up, so Tibbers is not that useful. And the cleaver by Mundo keeps Tibbers at bay. It's like Annie's still trying to get the stun off, but she is not going to get in range in time. And just needs to back up. The score is 6-1 here at the almost 8-minute mark. A nice 2,500 gold lead for the blue team, as every single one of their lanes is winning pretty hard. And Ezreal is the only one on the red team with a kill, but he is not in very good shape as he is down fairly heavily in CS. And I like this Severance Blade pickup by Mundo, as I'm not sure if he's going to turn into anything useful, but he farms so incredibly quickly that he will get maximum gold from that item, especially if his lanes are winning like this and they don't need the ganks. Mundo can just farm all day long and really won't have a problem. Sona pouring some major damage on this Ezreal, as Nami just does not have the healing capacity to keep him up from all this poke from Sona. Looks like Ryze has completed a tier of the Goddess and boots. And nothing else big new. Olaf is going for the Madrid's Razor. And he's picking up another Duran's Blade, and Teemo opting for the Ninja Tabi. Looks like Sona does take some big damage and will go down here to the Ignite. Yes, the last time Ignite does finish him off. Looks like Mundo's going to grab a red here, just barely. And Ryze can easily zone out this Annie at the moment. Annie just not having a good start at this point. And that just comes down to every single lane being dominated by the blue team. And Annie really can't do a whole lot. Let's see if Olaf is spotted. Yes, Olaf is spotted by Riven, and she will wisely run away as Annie is coming up as well. And will Annie be able to get in range of a stun? She is not in range, as Riven wisely flashes away. Annie would have landed that stun combo, and Riven would have been dead. And you can't give away a lead like that, especially top lane, when this Riven is so incredibly far ahead. It's funny. She is up, looks like almost 30 CS at this point, and 2 kills on Teemo. Teemo is trying to go ability power route, but just can't. And if you want to counter Teemo, up top, pick someone with high mobility, like a Riven or a... Yeah, as I said, someone with high mobility. And I really like Riven up top. If you want to counter him in the mid, pick Veigar. Anytime Teemo comes up to last hit, throw the cage out, and absolutely dominate him. That's how you beat Teemo. Looks like Mundo is coming in for a gank, but he will go through the tower. Nice knock-up bubble by Nami as it chains with the ultimate for some good damage. Sona is pretty low, and Sona will just barely stay alive, but thanks to that nice missile by Corki, it really backs him up. Nami does go down thanks to flash by Corki, and the Gatling gun picks up another kill onto Ezreal. Nice use of your flash there, Corki, as that Gatling gun does a ridiculous amount of damage. And I expect he will be picking up a Black Cleaver at some point, as every single hit by the Gatling gun stacks Black Cleaver, and they do stack in terms of armor shred. Looks like Ryze is doing some good damage to Annie, but Annie with Tibbers doing a lot of damage as well. And it looks like Ryze might go down to that last auto attack. No, Ignite just too strong, or excuse me, that potion is just too strong, as Ignite does not finish him off. Riven up top jumping in on Teemo, but Riven will get the last little bit of that mushroom. Not sure what Mundo's building at this point. Looks like Riven does pop her ultimate and forces Teemo to flash away, and puts Teemo at half health just from that little engagement. Mundo might be going for an Aegis next. I think that'd be a nice choice. Sona has opted for the Philosopher's Stone and Kindle Gem. We see Brutalizer picked up on Ezreal. Olaf likely going for a Phage after picking up that Madrid's Razor. We do see Annie with the Sorcerer's Shoes, Nami with the Spirit Stone or Sight Stone, and Kage's Lucky Pick. And right at this point, it is a 6-kill lead for the blue team, and a 5,000 gold lead for them as well. They're really snowballing off all these kills, especially as they're taking huge CS leads in multiple lanes like top, middle, and jungle. Looks like Sona's trying to come up here and throw some more harass on Ezreal, and it is nice harass, as he is forced to burn off more charges of that flask, and eventually he'll be forced to use potions. And that is a pretty heavy investment bottom lane to pick up the flask. Especially when you have a Sona and Corki who can really jump in there and burn their ultimates and finish someone off before the flask really has an effect. Looks like Olaf is trying to get something going down bottom, but I don't think he's going to be able to, as there is a ward in that bottom bush. There is not a ward in the river for the blue team, but I don't think he knows that. Like Nami's throwing out some more harassment, trying to get them low enough. Looks like Mundo is coming up top and does see Olaf. Mundo will come in from behind for the gank, but Sona does land a beautiful ultimate, keeping both herself and Corki alive. But Olaf, the ignite from Ezreal is just too strong. It looks like Ryze has come down as well, and this will be a dead Olaf thanks to the Ryze. And another big win exchange down bottom as 3 players from the red team go down for the single player of the blue team. And losing your Sona for 3 players, trade that all day long. Please, if you can just sacrifice your Sona for multiple kills, please do. No offense to Sona players out there, but that's just what the job of support is. You trade your support out for kills on the AD carry, especially trade your support out for kills on the AD carry and their support, as this game is almost out of hand for the blue team, as they are up 6,000 gold, and Riven is practically tower diving this Teemo. Annie is coming up here. She will try to get a stun on this Riven, but no, she does not have her stun up, and because she doesn't have her stun up, nothing really happens. If she had her stun there, that could have been a kill, as Tibers does a ton of damage. That is likely the highest damaging skill in the game, as Tibers burns for a ridiculously long time. Yeah, if you want to calculate that, Tibers does a base damage of, yeah, at level 1, we're sitting at 40 damage over 45 seconds. 45 damage per second for 45 seconds. It is pretty ridiculous how much damage Tibers does. I don't feel like calculating it, but it is the highest damaging skill in the game, bar none. There are no exceptions to this rule. It looks like Olaf's going to try and come up here and get a gank on Riven, but I don't think Riven really cares. Riven just jumps in and will pick off this Teemo, as she does have her ultimate up, and the ultimate goes across on Teemo. Will Olaf have to run away? Yes, Olaf will, as the ult from Riven gives her an incredible amount of AD, and Riven will not... Oh yes, she does pick up that kill, having her wings pop out at the last moment. And right now, I'm not sure what the red team can do. They're just outclassed in every single lane. And Annie's even opting for triple Duran's Blade. Ultimate pop by Nami does not hit Ryze as he pops his own ultimate to just barely get out of the way. Bubble popped up there by Nami, but that's just not a whole lot happening. Annie is pretty far down in minions, same thing with Teemo, and the blue team will just go duo this dragon rather quickly, as Dragon is pretty free at this point. I'm not sure what Ezreal or Nami could do down bottom to really do anything. Teemo has picked up a Hunting Guise and is trying to get some magic penetration here to stop Riven, but Riven has finished off her Bloodthirster. Mundo picks up a Warmongs. We do see Corki going for a Phage in addition of unlikely a Trinity Force, having picked up the Amplifying Tome part of Sheen at this point. Looks like Ezreal with the... Looks like what is that, Ruby? Yeah, Ruby Crystal and Brutalizer. Looks like Annie does try to get a nice hit onto Ryze, but will flash away. Ryze will flash up trying to get her, but Olaf is going to be taken down here, as Olaf does not have any real tankiness to speak of. Looks like Mundo is chasing this Annie, and Annie will not get the kill, as the Ignite is not enough, and she does not have the additional spell to throw out there. Looks like Nami has picked up Kage's lucky pick, and this will be another tower down. All the other towers have gone down at the 18-minute mark. The score is 15-3 with a 10,000 gold lead for the blue team, and I expect to surrender in about 2.5 minutes. There's just no hope. Every single one of the blue lanes won so incredibly hard, it's ridiculous. Ryze has completed his Rod of Ages, and Tier as well. Looks like we have an Atma's up onto Mundo. I'm actually curious how good Atma's is. I've not seen many people pick it, but I really do like it in conjunction with the Warmongs. And right now, Ezreal is the only hope for the red team, as he has all 3 of their kills, and it's just not looking good at this point. There's really nothing they can do, as they are all down very hard. And yeah, I'm just waiting for a surrender here. There's not a whole lot to say, as every single lane won so incredibly hard. And the big thing here is Sona put a bunch of pressure. Sona Corki put a bunch of pressure on Ezreal down bottom and forced Olaf to stay down there. So Olaf couldn't get ganks up top or mid where they were needed. And as a jungler, you feel very helpless at this point, because you know all your lanes are losing, and if you gank one lane, you're not going to be ganking another that needs it. And you even throw away your life several times trying to get these kills. As he's sitting at, oh, it looks like they're trying to get this Annie, but Annie will just back away, letting her Tibbers go down to the enemy for a large gold gain. Yeah, it looks like the red team's not even trying at this point. They've kind of given up and said, hey, we're done. We can't come back. Ezreal's completed a Black Cleaver. Corki almost with the Trinity Force. And it looks like Riven's just going to push top as they wait for those last few seconds before the 20-minute mark and a surrender comes out. Looks like Ezreal's going to try and do a Mundo down bottom. Mundo not having a whole lot of armor. Bubble thrown out by Nami, but it is easily dodged. Australia's Reverie hasn't picked up on Sona, and Sona's going to be completing the Ages of the Legion next. Ryze out for another catalyst, likely a Banshee's Veil, after picking up the Rod of Ages and Tear of the Goddess. Teemo taking a ton of damage up top, but will live thanks to a well-placed Mushroom there at the end. And Teemo might actually get a kill on Riven here, but no, Riven jumps in. And actually Riven does go down. She did not have enough damage to finish him off. But it looks like Sona and Ezreal are going to come, or Sona and Ryze are going to come up here and take this kill on Teemo, as Teemo has no escape at this point. They are just too fast. And come on, Teemo. Can you get away? Can you get away, Teemo? No, you might be able to suicide yourself here. But yeah, not a chance. Looks like Ryze did actually go for support masteries, interesting enough, as he did pick up 3 gold for that auto attack. And that's not actually a bad mastery to take if you're throwing out harassment in lane. Ryze's fairly long auto attacks do make use of it rather nicely. Looks like blue team's going to just come up push top, as they are up 13,000 gold at just past the 21-minute mark. And yeah, this is pretty over at this point. Mundo has the machete, Warmongs, Atma's Impaler, and Zeal. He'll likely go for that static shiv and just split push all day long. Corki has picked up the blue buff and finished off his Trinity Force Wave and jumping in there, but Ezreal shifts away. Looks like Olaf has gone for the Kindle Gem and the Madra's Razor. Teemo has finished off his Liadre's Torment and picked up a nice chain vest to go with it. And looks like Mundo is going to split push bottom. Will Mundo actually get this tower? Or will Nami and Ezreal defend it? It looks like he will back up wisely. And here's a quick look at the gold of the various teams. And it looks like the high farmer of the game is Riven, sitting at just over 8,200 with Ryze basically equal in farm. Yeah, it looks like blue team will be going to take the Baron here, as they really have nothing else better to do. They can take this Baron and just push an inhibitor, group up his 5 and really end this game. Annie's going to try and take it, and Annie will not get the steal, but she does do some decent damage, but goes down in the process. Looks like Ezreal's almost cut out, but a flash will save him. Mundo does land the cleaver, and the Nami tsunami will keep everyone safe. Mundo is running up there trying to get something to happen, but no, nothing really does. Yeah, Mundo's regenerating a ton of health at this point. Over 20 every single tick. That's ridiculous. And he's not going to die, as he has a ton of armor, and Annie's the only real big magic damage dealer. Teemo has a bit as well, but it's not really consistent. It's mostly those mushrooms when you hit them in the forest, and really whittle your team down on the way to objectives. I'm surprised the surrender vote has not come out here, as the lead is now 16,000, and at the 25-minute mark, it is 17-4, with 7 towers for the blue team, 0 for the red team. If the red team had anything going for them, I would tell them not to surrender, but they don't. Their Ezreal is the only thing that's slightly going for them, because he's up significantly on the Corki in terms of CS, but Corki's way so incredibly far up on kills, it's pretty ridiculous. Looks like Ryze is running down the middle and has completed his Mana Mune, and is going for that Mana Miora. He is almost there, needing a little less than 100 gold to finish that off. And as soon as he finishes that off, it is going to be good game. It is a ridiculous amount of damage on Ryze. Looks like Annie and Olaf are just sitting in the base at this point. And yeah, this game is over. Please, red team, just surrender. It's hard to watch, and keep finding interesting things to commentate about during all of this. But that's half of commentating, is figuring out what to say when there's nothing to say. And when there's nothing to say, you talk about the fact that there's nothing to say, just to kind of stall as the blue team will finish this off rather quickly. They have decided to group up as 4, as Mundo's going to cover up the rear. And this is an inhibitor turret now, and an inhibitor to follow. Looks like Ezreal does pop his ult out, but Olaf takes 1 hit from Ryze and he goes down. So it looks like those Teemo strips are doing a fair bit of damage, but the Baron buff will heal them back. Ezreal has picked up the Home Guard boots, but the problem about Home Guard boots is as soon as you're hit, they do lose their passive. Nami just throw out her bubble and keep several people safe, but Riven just jumps in there and finishes everyone off, as they could easily tower dive if they want kills at this point. Mana Miora completed up on Ryze, and that damage is pretty ridiculous. About how much is it doing, as he does have a near full mana pool. Yeah, it's dealing almost 200 damage at this point. That is pretty ridiculous. And yeah, that's a snowball game. Nothing more than that. No additional commentary needed. That's what happens when you snowball. And you snowball every single lane. That was pretty ridiculous. The in-game score screen will show. It was bad. It was really bad.
Thank you for watching Games Cast by PanderNyrl. If you wish to see more, follow my YouTube and Twitch pages below.